Tonight on CTV News at 5.
It's so hard to talk to people nowadays and meet new people.
Connection problem. Nothing replaces face-to-face interactions when it comes to your mental health.
Not a lot of people get to do that. It was pretty fun.
Blake and the Blue Jays, a wish comes true for a New Brunswick teen.
More May sunshine tomorrow for much of the Maritimes, along with some warmer temperatures.
Live from the Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Maria Peno-Palace. Thank you for joining us. First at 5 tonight, Come Together Canada. That's the theme of this year's Mental Health Week, focused on loneliness. We're more connected than ever thanks to the internet, but as CTV's Vanessa Wright shows us, we've never felt more alone. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Maria, that's right. And you'd be surprised at how many Canadians are impacted by loneliness. It's a unique mental health struggle with no single solution.
You may not be able to see it or hear it, but it's a feeling millions of Canadians carry around every day.
Loneliness is more than a feeling. We know that it is a mental health and public health issue.
According to the Canadian Mental Health Association, 5 million people in Canada feel lonely often or always, including 1 in 5 youth aged 16 to 24. The data also shows 1 in 4 people who connect online are frequently lonely.
It can be really depressing because it's so hard to talk to people nowadays and meet new people.
I remember being quite lonely when I first had a baby, and I was home alone with the baby, and people leave you alone to sort of settle in with your new baby, but it's kind of a lonely experience.
The theme of this year's Mental Health Week is Come Together Canada, a campaign that encourages people to step outside of their shell in a big or small way.
It can be a conversation, a face-to-face conversation with eye contact with people. It can be a check-in, maybe even a shared meal or joining a group, reaching out for support or helping someone feel less alone.
She also recommends finding community spaces to connect. The Halifax Story Slam is one event that uses storytelling to reach those struggling with mental health.
What we have is 6 storytellers that are going to tell their lives' true story. We always say as remembered in front of the audience. There are no notes or scripts or prompts. I always hope that everyone comes away with hearing a little piece of that story that resonates with them, that makes them think that, oh, someone has just voiced my story.
In an effort to get more Canadians connecting face to face.
Technology can help us stay in touch, but it cannot replace the value of human presence. And when people feel connected, they're more likely to feel supported and resilient and hopeful. And that's what we want for people.
And if you're in the Halifax area tomorrow night, you can attend the Story Slam at the Halifax Central Library from 6:30 to 8:30. It's a free event and everyone is welcome. Maria?
Oh, sounds like a great time as well as a profound time for a lot of people. Thank you so much, Vanessa. CTV's Vanessa Wright for us in Halifax this evening. That actually brings us to tonight's web poll. We're asking, how often do you feel lonely? These are your options. Frequently, occasionally, or rarely. Go to ctvnewsatlantic.ca to weigh in and to see the latest poll results. All right, Todd Battis joins us now with a look at the headlines. Hi, Todd.
Hi, Maria. Family and friends of the missing Sullivan children marked a sad anniversary on the weekend. Saturday was 1 year since Jack and Lily were reported missing. About 30 people held a vigil at the RCMP office in Stellarton. They left toys and held signs promising that the children will not be forgotten. They are still demanding more information from police. Too unpredictable and too challenging. That's how the group representing construction companies describes working in the city of Halifax. Some firms are even considering pulling up stakes, but at least one councillor defends the process, saying it's the cost of doing business. We will hear from both sides of the issue at 6 o'clock. It may be spring, but this is a story clearly about winter, and Poley Mountain near Sussex, New Brunswick has big plans for the coming winters. The ski resort has purchased 110 acres of land on the west side of the hill. It'll be working with a company from Whistler and plans to turn the resort into a year-round destination. Some details for you coming up at 6. Let's get the details now in the Weather Center with meteorologist Callum Mitchell on what was a, well, let's call it a pleasant Monday.
Oh, certainly compared to yesterday's weather, that is true, Todd. Well, we're on the topic of snow. There was some snow on the tail end of that weather system that made its way across the Maritimes on Sunday, especially down in the southwest of Nova Scotia, where after it turned over to a period of snow, in some cases a few to several centimeters accumulated. Of course, for snow this time of year, it goes very, very quickly, especially when you have a day like we had today where the sun was shining through a good portion of the Maritimes, and a lot of temperatures now have made it up towards the low to mid-teens, so a little bit cooler in a few spots, including 9 degrees right now. Woodstock, there's a couple showers moving through there, and 9 degrees at Shetty Camp in Cape Breton. Winds certainly been noticeable for today, still on the gusty side. They're mostly out of the west. They're being sustained between around 20 and 40 kilometers per hour. Some of the peak wind gusts getting up in the range of 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. The wind direction does change for tomorrow, but the wind speeds, now they're going to be gusty again for the region. Taking a look at things on radar and satellite, here's the area of showers making its way through parts of the Maritimes at this hour. So they're scattered in coverage across central and southern areas of New Brunswick, but also making their way across northern and western areas of Nova Scotia. Most of those showers will be very light and passing through as we head through this evening. And then in tomorrow's forecast, warm up for a good portion of the region. And more on that when I'm back a little bit later on. Maria.
Thank you very much. I like the sounds of that, Kaylin. Thank you. We'll see you in just a bit. Right now, though, when was the last time you used a phone book or even saw one? As CTV's Paul Hollingsworth reports, you may be surprised to know they're still being used in some communities, but the question now is, for how long?
Corrine McClellan received the latest phone book in the mail.
We took it out of the mailbox, walked home with it, and threw it right in the recycling bin.
Phone books have been discontinued in many Canadian cities. They are still sent out in small numbers. But even so, Mike McJanet hasn't used one in 20 years.
There's different ways of doing things today.
I think probably in another 2 to 3 years, we won't see phone books anymore.
CTV reached out to the Yellow Pages company to ask how much longer phone books in Nova Scotia will be produced. We did not receive a response. Digital anthropologist Giles Croach says people now find phone numbers online.
Any single-use technology that can be replaced by a digital technology will get replaced by it.
Croach says the same online technology has changed many aspects of our lives. Even hard copy instruction manuals and other paper products are being phased out by smartphone QR codes.
But you can also use them for a menu if you're at a restaurant. We saw that a lot during the pandemic. And you can use them to do two-factor authentication for safety.
With things like phone books, paper manuals, and paper menus slowly being phased out, what does that mean for people who don't have access to smartphones or the internet? Seniors advocate Bill Van Gorder says close to 30% of Canadian seniors are not online. They use phone books.
The problem for them is their children, the people they want to call, all have cell phones, and the cell phones aren't in the phone book.
Van Gorder wants seniors to adapt to digital technology to maintain their independence and social connections. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Paul. Isn't that a sign of the times? All right, time for a break here on CTV News at 5. When we come back, though, the healing power of music.
The music and the drinking went hand in hand, but then at a part of my life, probably like my mid-20s, the music stopped, but the drinking kept going.
Musician Danny McNeil hopes his new release helps others who have battled alcoholism. More on his sobriety song next. Cape Breton's Natalie McMaster played the fiddle for about 1,000 attendees at the St. FX graduation yesterday in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. She was also awarded an honorary degree, a Doctor of Laws honoris causa. The multiple Juno and ECMA winner is also a member of the Order of Canada and the Order of Nova Scotia, plus a mom of 7. How does she do it? We don't know. She is amazing. Mi'kmaq elder Carrie Prosper and business leader Mark Wallace also received honorary degrees. Congratulations to all of the recipients and, of course, all of the graduates. Way to go. All right, so a Cape Breton singer-songwriter has opened up about his journey to sobriety. As CTV's Ryan McDonald shows us, he's written a song that he hopes will help others who might be struggling.
That's why you won't see in me. Hold on.
Danny McNeil has been a musician for years, and there was a time when all of those late nights out came with a problem.
The music and the drinking went hand in hand, but then at a part of my life, probably like my mid-20s, the music stopped, but the drinking kept going.
This is McNeil on the final day before starting his journey to sobriety. On May 5th, 2019, he decided to give up drinking for good.
I had missed work. I knew I was supposed to be at work and like hanging a pretty heavy head. And there was something about that day where I was just like, enough is enough.
I said, baby, the plow just went by.
Back in the winter, McNeil released a song about the frustration of when a snowplow fills in a just shoveled driveway. Now, his latest single, Lonely for Now, is set to debut on the 7-year anniversary of his sobriety.
I know that there are people out there that are feeling the way I was feeling when I wrote this song.
The song was written during the first few months of McNeil's efforts to get sober and talks about the complicated feelings he first had after making the lifestyle change. Now he's finally ready to release it because he wants to help people.
I want this song to reach someone who needs to hear it. I need, like, for someone who's going to hear it and think there's someone else that was in that situation and they got out of it.
These days, McNeil says what he is most proud of is the life he has built with his wife Molly and their 3.5-year-old twins.
My life couldn't be any more different than it was. You know, it took a lot of work, but it's the best decision I ever made.
I'm trying to sort it out.
Opening up about a personal journey that might strike a chord with others, the song is set to be officially launched on Tuesday at an event at Dr. Luke's Cafe in Sydney. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
Love it, and good for you for sharing that journey and hoping to help others along the way. Awesome. All right, Kaylin Mitchell joins us now. Kaylin, yesterday was a tough day. It was kind of windy and hard to be outside.
Yeah.
More to come, less to come.
Well, more sunshine, but the wind's going to remain with us, so we'll talk more about that after the break.
Robinson over for Knox. He scores!
Halifax Thunderbirds fan, the region's only professional lacrosse team, took down the Georgia Swarm in their own barn Saturday night. The Birds were down 1-4 early, but turned up the heat and were rewarded with a decisive 12-7 win in the end. It's been an inspiring underdog story for the T-Birds, who went into playoffs as the lowest-seeded team. Kaylin, Game 2 in the best-of-3 series is back in Halifax Saturday night. And, of course, we expect it to be just a great show. Go T-Birds, go.
Hey, with the Toronto Raptors out now, I'm all in on the Thunderbirds. Yeah. And, well, I guess all in on the Montreal Canadiens
yes,
as well, too.
Go Habs, go, for sure.
Yeah. Let's take a look at what's going on in Rockwood Park in St. John for today. And that is some fast-flowing waters after the last 2 rainy weather systems have moved through the St. John area, picking up a fair amount of rain from both of those weather systems. Of course, the one that went through Sunday not only packed rain, but also some gusty winds, a few thunderstorms, and as I talked about earlier, that burst of snow down around the southwest of Nova Scotia. That's probably all gone for today because there was some sunshine. Now, we do have a little bit of cloud cover moving through and a couple of showers underneath it. Barometric pressure is still on the lower side. In the forecast for tomorrow, we're going to see a lot of sunshine in the Maritimes, but a gusty southwest wind that will keep coastal areas a little bit cooler. And late in the day for the northwest of New Brunswick, a few showers expected. And with those showers, a low risk of some thunderstorms. And that's coming along as this cold front will make its way past Ontario and in towards the St. Lawrence River Valley in through Quebec. So taking a look at things on radar right now, you can see those scattered showers showing up here in through the greens, just passing over communities like Fredericton as well as St. John. Some of those showers drifting towards the north and west of Nova Scotia. As we take a look at our timeline, they're moving through fairly quickly. So heading towards midnight, a lot of them clear to the east of Nova Scotia, and behind there'll be a few clouds around for the overnight hours. Temperatures tonight a little bit on the cooler side, and for the start of the day on Tuesday, a lot of sunshine around the Maritimes. Now moving from the morning hours hours and into the afternoon. It remains mostly sunny for Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, parts of the south of New Brunswick, but we'll see some increasing cloudiness up around the northwest of New Brunswick, and underneath that cloud cover, the chance of a couple of showers. Now, the chance of showers will be on the lower side early to mid-afternoon, but actually become a little bit higher late afternoon into evening, and that's when you can see some of that weather begin to make its way and approach out of the St. Lawrence River Valley in through Quebec, as well as out of the state of Maine. And in this broken line of showers that moves into parts of the north and west of New Brunswick, that's where there's that low risk of a few thunderstorms. Remember your thunderstorm safety rules. When thunder roars, head indoors. You want to wait at least 30 minutes after that last crack of thunder before heading back outside. That weather system, by the way, will bring in some further scattered showers to New Brunswick on Wednesday, and then some showers and some rain a little bit more widespread for the region as we make our way through Wednesday night into Thursday. Let's take a look at the winds in the forecast. The wind gusts diminish a bit as we make our way towards midnight. Now, the winds for tomorrow become southwest for the Maritimes, but they pick back up for the afternoon. And once again, we're going to have some fairly widespread gusts of between around 30 and 60 kilometers per hour. That southwest wind will be a little bit more onshore around the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick and the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia. So those coastal areas are going to be held with a lot of high temperatures tomorrow around the low to mid-teens. That's right by the coast. As soon as you get away from the coast, though, you're going to get to some high temperatures that'll be up into the high teens and low 20s. And that's why we can see a lot of those high temperatures for New Brunswick tomorrow, 20 to 24 degrees, except 12 to 15 around the Bay of Fundy coastline, 20 for Charlottetown and Prince Edward Island for tomorrow. And for Nova Scotia, a lot of high temperatures, 18 to 22, except directly on the coast, where a lot of the highs will be held between 12 and 16 degrees. In the forecast for Wednesday, again, some scattered showers making their way across parts of New Brunswick throughout the day. A mix of sun and cloud for both Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia. A lot of high temperatures, still mid to high teens, might be a few low 20s around. And then after that, conditions in the Maritimes turn a little bit wetter Wednesday night into Thursday. Let's take a look at our weather watcher for tonight. And tonight's weather watcher, oh, this is a nice one. This is coming in from 8-year-old Willow Rafuse from New Ross, Nova Scotia. And Willow has sent us a drawing of a bunny out splashing in puddles while out in the rain. Maybe a little bit of a lighter rain shower as opposed to that heavier rain that we saw yesterday, Maria. Thank you, Willow. Great job. Weather watchers can come into CTV Weather Watchers, P.O. Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3J2Z4, or email kaylin.mitchell@bellmedia.ca. Maria.
Thank you, Kaylin and Willow. So people gathered at Point Pleasant Park in Halifax Sunday to mark the 81st anniversary of the end of the Battle of the Atlantic. CTV's Paul DeWitt was there.
British Prime Minister Winston Churchill described the Battle of the Atlantic as the dominant campaign of the war, and the corvette as his workhorse. Ship like Sackville, crewed largely by reservists, formed the backbone of Canada's ocean escort force, serving for a long period of time at sea under demanding conditions, often far from public view.
Well, I think this is really important to us in the Sackville and the Naval Memorial Trust, because our mission is to make sure that we honor the commitment and the work and suffering and sacrifice of those men and women who served during the war, and also let people realize what it was like for those people. Not so much the fact that the war was on, but just the day-to-day hard slogging that those people put up with during those 6 long years of the Battle of the Atlantic. They were crossing the North Atlantic, and not during the summer. They were doing it every time of the year. Those ships bounced like corks in the water. It would have been an extremely challenging life. We think experiences like this are important, both for us to remember and commemorate the sacrifice, but also it's a good opportunity to encourage younger people to study what went on. And there's a lot going on today that seems to be a repeat of history, and maybe we could learn something by looking back.
Thank you very much to Paul DeWitt for putting that report together for us. Time for a break now. When we come back, though, wishes do come true in this story.
I'm Derek Haggett in Moncton. Coming up on CTV News at 5, I'm going to introduce you to a 13-year-old boy with a rare heart condition who had a wish of a lifetime fulfilled at a Blue Jays game in Toronto last week. His story is coming up.
Welcome back. So a Moncton teen had a dream come true at a baseball game in Toronto recently. As CTV's Derek Haggett reports, his trip to the mound hasn't been an easy one, though.
Blake Savage says he wasn't too nervous when he threw out the first pitch at a Blue Jays game last week.
George Springer catching the pitch. Great job, Blake.
Not a lot of people get to do that. It was pretty fun.
The 13-year-old from Moncton and his parents were the guests of Make-A-Wish Canada for a game between Toronto and Boston. The ceremonial first pitch, something he's always wanted to do.
It kind of just went by so fast that, like, well, I remember throwing the first pitch, taking a picture, but it went so fast.
It was so emotional. It was so, I was happy to see him just smile and just having the best day of his life.
Blake lives with a rare heart condition. He collapsed twice on the school playground years ago, and in 2024 suffered a cardiac arrest while playing hockey. While receiving treatment at the IWK in Halifax, Blake was diagnosed with CPVT, a genetic condition that causes abnormal heart rhythms.
He has it for life. The medication he's on 2 different types of medication, and it's got it. There's no sign of it now.
He's, we're monitored. We go to IWK for follow-ups. He's on the medication, but other than that, he's doing great.
I can't, play hockey anymore, but, I can't do too much physical activity.
But he can still play baseball, his true passion. And he got to meet 2 of his heroes, including George Springer, who caught his pitch.
He's a lot taller in person, and it's pretty nice.
He didn't know even what players he was meeting until he got on the field. He, of course, threw out a few names.
And Blake also threw out a near-perfect pitch. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
Way to go, Blake.
That's
That
great.
is so great. What an awesome experience.
Great May weather for parts of the Maritimes for tomorrow. A lot of areas are going to be very sunny, warmer, although cooler on the coast in that southwest wind. Chance of a thunderstorm, though, late in the day for parts of New Brunswick. So I'll be talking more about all of that coming up in CTV News at 6.
We'll see you and Todd at 6 o'clock. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching. The national news is next.